ask for a refund yesterday. So here is my story time about this client. A little backstory if you guys didn't know. Hi, I'm Julie. I'm a South Florida makeup artist and esthetician, and I've been doing this for 6 years, and this has never happened to me. So these girls show up 15 minutes late already. So that already, puts a bad taste in my mouth, but you know what? Things happen. Then the first girl that I'm going to do goes to the bathroom. So by the time that she sits in my chair, we're starting around 20 minutes late. They didn't send any inspo pictures like we asked. So when she was showing them to me, they were so event glam makeup, and they booked a soft glam makeup appointment, but we only had an hour each. But remember, they came late. So I start doing her makeup and she's loving it. She's like, oh my God, this is so good. Can I take a picture of what you're using? Oh, this and that, it looks great. I'm like, yeah, she's loving it. I'm working really fast because I want to finish on time. But then she's on her phone with her work, which I understand. I don't mind if my clients are on their phone, but she's like this, moving around, and I'm doing her winged liner. So I'm like, I need you to look in a certain direction. I don't mind if you're on the phone, but please look this direction and chin up. And she kept going like this. I was like, and listen to me, and listen. I'm like, I'm gonna mess up your makeup, lady. And mind you, we don't have that much time, so I need you to cooperate. So I finish her makeup, it looks bomb. She's like, oh my God, can I take a picture of the products that you used? Yada yada. I'm like, sure, no problem. Start the other girl, she wants full glam again. I'm like, all right, and we literally have 30 minutes, so let's do this. So I start doing her makeup, and she knows a little bit more about makeup, so she was telling me what she wanted. And we were talking products, like she was liking how everything was looking. And then all of a sudden, the other girl was like, this lady, she didn't do a good job at something else, cleaning the house. And the other girl goes, well, did you pay her? And she's like, no. I'm like, so I got a pit in my stomach. So I was like, let me not judge. Maybe I'm overthinking. I'm like, oh my God, are they not gonna pay? So I finished the makeup at 5:03, and I agree, it could have been a little bit smokier, but again, they didn't schedule the right appointment. Number one, didn't send us inspo pics when they booked the appointment, so we couldn't adjust the appointment, and they came late. But if I show you guys the before and after, you'll be like, that looks good. So anyways, she's like, I love it, this and that. And I always try to make my customers feel very welcomed and very at ease if they don't like anything. Like I literally say, hey, I don't get offended. Please let me know if you don't like something. We could change it. We could work on it. Like, please let me know. Don't be shy. And, sometimes I'll crack a little joke so that they feel comfortable enough to tell me if they want something different. So I'm thinking they left happy because they were like, oh my God, this and that. We're going to go out now. And she tipped me $40 on the card. And I was like, all right. Not even 10 minutes later, she texts my boss asking for a refund. A refund. And basically saying that her and her friend were dissatisfied with the service. Girl, you guys took pictures of products that I was using. You were telling me that you liked it in between the appointments, and then you joked about not paying somebody else? No. So, of course, I'm livid. I'm like, what the heck? This has never happened to me. But I'm like, just you outed yourself by joking about not paying somebody else. I mean, and why would you tip $40 if you were dissatisfied with the service? Number one. Number two, you were late. Number three, you didn't send inspo pics. Like, come on, girlfriend. And the same look is not going to look the same on everybody. If you ask for the same hair as somebody, you have different hair and different hair texture and color, and your hair takes differently. Like, the makeup is not going to look the same. I wish I could show you guys the before and after. You guys will be like, this lady is crazy. So we sent them a message back, and of course they didn't respond. But that was my day yesterday, and honestly, I'm upset about it, but I know and I am confident in my work. I know that these girls probably just do this all the time, so I can't be too upset about it. So yeah, this is my life, but honestly, I have way more good experiences than bad experiences. This has never happened to me before. So I'm lucky in the 6 years that I haven't had this happen to me, but yeah. People are rude, people are mean, people take advantage. It sucks.
Get ready with me when I tell you about the time my bride hated her makeup. So this is when I pretty much was a baby makeup artist and I wanted to get into bridal. So I posted on a bunch of wedding Facebook pages offering free bridal trials. When she first reached out to me, I should have saw the red flags. She asked me a million questions about what products I carried in my kit, if they were high-end, drugstore, etc. Which I have no problem with, to be completely honest. I was carrying a lot of high-end brands for being a baby makeup artist. She then asked me if I would do her wedding for free. Her wedding was 3 hours away one way, 3 hours back from me, 7 girls, and it was pretty far out. I want to say like 1.5 to 2 years out, so I would have had a lot of weddings under my belt by that time. Side note, I still don't think I like this. I told her I wasn't really sure about my wedding prices just yet, but that I definitely could not do it for free. She kind of gave me a lot of attitude about this, but she ultimately scheduled a free bridal trial with me. Fast forward to her free bridal trial. So I asked her for reference pictures, and she showed me a lot of photos from Pinterest that are heavily edited, full glam, and said she wanted something like that natural. Which I understand. A lot of clients don't know that a lot of photos that you see, people are wearing a lot of makeup to show up on camera. So I explained that to her. So then we started going through my client photos. She then basically shitted on all of my work and everything like that. And I get it. I was very beginner. I was still pretty good for being pretty new. So I was basically like, let's just get started. Everything was going pretty well. We selected a nice eye. We selected, a good lash, a lip, everything. Everything seemed to be going really well until I handed her the mirror. She started to pick through every single thing she didn't like and continued to say that she was way too dark, even though she was extremely dark on her body and very light on her face. And I matched to the body because everything is supposed to be cohesive, and I tried to explain that to her, but she was still not happy. We then started going through my kit, grabbing things, and swatching cream products, which, if you know as a makeup artist, that is so unsanitary, and she contaminated a lot of my products. And I'm a people pleaser and a baby makeup artist at that time, so I was very nice to her and was trying to just make her happy, and nothing I was doing was making her happy. So then she had me take off everything and wanted me to restart. But I had clients coming over, so I told her we could just schedule a second trial. But I told her she'd have to pay for this trial. She was not happy. So we ended up scheduling a second trial, and I told her it'd be like $50, something super cheap, and she continued to ask for a discounted price, saying she used to be a model and that she shouldn't have to pay that price, etc. And then my dumb people pleaser self was like, yeah, we could just do $40. Still extremely cheap. She comes over for her second trial and brings 2 people with her. The entire time I'm doing her makeup, her and her 2 friends were basically just like, no, she usually likes it like this, she doesn't like that, she doesn't like this, and we're touching my kit again. I was asking them to stop, and then it just went out of control. Go to part 2.
I'm going to tell you about the bride who almost made me quit being a makeup artist. That's how bad she was. So when I was communicating with this bride, I didn't realize it was actually her cousin. This bride didn't speak any English, so her cousin was doing all the bookings with her. And when she showed up, it was her and her cousin, which obviously, no problem, not a big deal. However, at this point in my career, I was working out of my kitchen table and I was booking 1-hour appointments for anyone who would book me at home. So she had 1 hour. That time frame has worked really well for me. I am very fast, so it worked really well for me. Unless someone shows up late, then there's a problem. Her appointment was booked for 12 o'clock. Now, 15 minutes late, I can usually still make it work. But by 12:30, this girl still hadn't showed up. So I was just assuming she's probably just not gonna come. I did email, I texted, and I never heard anything back. So I kind of went and sat on the couch, put my feet up, and I was just like, okay, no big deal. It's really not the end of the world, whatever. And I had a client booked right after that. So at 1 o'clock, and I said, I'll just wait until she shows up. Well, at 1:45, this car pulls up and I'm assuming that it's my next client. But no, the music was blasting. There was all kinds of people in the car. And I was like, oh my God, I think this is the bride that was supposed to be here at 12 o'clock. But I had someone else coming at 1, so there was absolutely no way that I could get her done in the time frame. She would have to wait until I was done my other client and just come back, basically. So I get to the front door and there's no sense of urgency. They're kind of strolling up to the door like it's not a big deal that they're late. And like I said, I have another client and the world does not revolve around you. So I was pretty stressed though, and I am kind of a pushover. So I was like, oh gosh. So I get to the door and I'm like, I'm sorry guys, I can't take you right now. You're 45 minutes late. You're gonna have to wait until I'm done with my other client. So these girls were a little bit more, let's say, on the aggressive side. They literally pushed me out of the way and they were like, nope, her ceremony's at 3:30 and she needs to get this done right now. And I was like, yes, but I have another client coming. And they were like, basically, I don't care. We're coming in. And they just pushed past me. They were coming in whether I liked it or not. I have never in my life ran into a situation like this. So I didn't know what to do. I was literally like, they were not taking no for an answer, and it was their wedding day and my next client was just a bridal trial. So I was like, okay, let me send her a message. And they just came in and made themselves right at home at my kitchen table. So I emailed my other client, and I'm assuming that she wasn't going to see it because it was pretty much her appointment time, but I was just letting her know what was going on. And she obviously didn't see that because it was basically her appointment time. So I just assumed that I was going to be getting a knock on my door in a couple of minutes. So she sits down and I'm praying that she's just going to want a really natural kind of simple look and I'll be able to bang this out, do it in 20 minutes, no big deal. Well, she sits down and again, there's no sense of urgency. They don't feel guilty that they were late. They weren't apologetic, nothing. They were just like, we need to get this done. So she sits down and she pulls out contact lenses and she's like, you need to put these in for me. I don't know how. Do I look like an optometrist? Like, I don't wear contacts. I don't know how to put them in. I don't know what was happening, why she expected me to be able to put in contacts, but they were like, no, you have to put them in. So I literally went, washed my hands. I mean, this is an extra step. When they're already late, I was like, oh my God, and I don't even know how to do it. So this is gonna take me forever. I went, I washed my hands, and I was like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna have to try and do this. They were bullying me. Like, there was no taking no for an answer. It was happening, whether I liked it or not. So I just was like, okay, I'll put in these contact lenses, I guess. So I tried a couple of times and finally got them in. It wasn't as hard as I thought, but I literally had like my hands in her eyeball. It was really, really weird. So then she's like, wants this huge, glamorous look. I do it. I probably did it in about 30 minutes. By the way, at this time, my other client had showed up and she knocks on the door and I was like, just a minute, guys, my other client's here. And I said to her, I was like, can you check your email? This client I had never met, but I could just tell she was really easygoing. So I was like, can you check your email? I'm just gonna be a few minutes. So she comes in and she sits in my living room. So I've got all these people in my living room. My living room is basically now a waiting room. And she's like, yeah, no problem, I'll sit and wait. She was doing engagement photos, which I didn't know. And so she was in a little bit of a rush, not too bad. She was able to wait. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna be much longer. So after I was all done, I handed her the mirror, expecting her to be like, yeah, it's perfect, let's go. Like, I'm getting married in literally an hour. She looked amazing. She was so pretty, but she looked amazing. And she was like, oh, I need this changed. What about this? Can I have this? And like her cousin was standing back analyzing the makeup. I'm like, girls, it looks amazing. Get out of here. Like, my other client was sitting there and they had the audacity to be picking apart my makeup application. It's like, I'm stressed. It looked flawless. Like, there was nothing that was wrong. I hate being late. So the fact that my other client was sitting there and I wasn't ready was stressing me out. I'm like, get out of my house. Like, you're done. You've had your time. You look amazing. She looked amazing, but you gotta go. But I couldn't say this to the girls because they were aggressive. So I wanted to make sure that, I don't know, I feel like they could have beat me up. I was really scared. So they're picking everything apart. Can you change this? Oh, I want more under here. I don't want as much here. I swear I spent an extra 20 minutes fixing their makeup, her makeup. They just weren't happy with anything. And even when she was leaving, she was still like, oh, can you, like looking in the mirror as she was leaving, picking herself apart, I'm like, bro, go. And I was like, yep. I was like, yeah, no, you look great. You look great. Like pushing them out the door basically, because this other girl had to get to her engagement photos and you gotta go. You gotta go. It blows my mind that people can be like that because I'm always worried about how other people feel and I literally put myself last. So the fact that they can just walk in, no big deal, not let me know that they're going to be late, like I just don't know how people live like that. And they honestly just weren't nice. Like they weren't being nice to me. I felt like I was being bullied. I literally wanted to cry after. When they left, I mean, you know when you're just literally too stunned, like you're too stunned to speak. You don't know how to react in the situation because you honestly never thought it would happen to you. That's how they were being. Like that's how I felt. I felt so out of control. Now here's the thing is I learned a lot from that situation. I learned that I shouldn't be such a pushover. I needed to be like, actually, you need to wait. There's nothing else I can do. But like I said, they did kind of like push me down at the door, so it was tough. But in hindsight, I should have been more, when someone's being aggressive with you, you need to be like even more over the top. So I should have done that. That night, I couldn't even sleep. I was just sick over the whole situation. But hopefully, if that does happen to me again, I can be a little bit more aggressive back and take a little bit more control because I'm a pushover.
And as a bridal makeup artist, I don't think I can ever recall a time that I've been asked to leave a wedding or been kicked out. Most of the time, I'm actually asked to stay, but your girl is usually very tired by that point and also not prepared to attend a wedding, and so I usually go home. But I do have a story that I just remembered a few weeks ago that I have not told you guys yet, and I tell you guys all of my crazy horror stories. It's about a bride who literally refused to pay me, and I still do not have payment from her to this day. A few years ago, before I ever had a studio space, I would travel to and from all of my clients, usually to their personal homes or to venues like on location to do makeup. Sometimes I would go to photo studios, but most of the time I was going to somebody's house, and this bride was no different. She booked me for a trial without securing her wedding day, which should have been a red flag looking back on it now, that this girl really wasn't that serious. But I also was a pretty new makeup artist. I'd only been doing makeup for like a year or two at this point, and I was trying to get, clients any way that I could. And so if it meant just booking her for the trial and then kind of like convincing her with my skill and my personality that I would be a good makeup artist for her, then I could figure that out once I got there. She lived about 30-45 minutes away from me, so I did travel to her home. Did I charge anything additional for travel? Of course not. I get there, start doing my thing, setting up my stuff, and it's kind of like they just moved in, her and her fiance. By the way, I'm underpainting. I promise. I know this looks crazy, but it's gonna look good later. And her fiance and herself, they must have just recently moved into this apartment, and they didn't have a lot of furniture, so we were having to make do with the counter space that was available in their bathroom. And I also was like using her bed as a table, and she was just like sitting in a dining room chair. So we're kind of just like setting up haphazardly, and there's also not really any good lighting in the space. It's like kind of dimly lit, and I'm pretty sure at that time I had my own lighting that I brought with me because I had had so many bad experiences of going to people's homes and they did not have lighting, and obviously can't do makeup without a window or overhead light, like some kind of lighting. I'm doing her makeup. I'm there for about an hour, just talking to her, kind of figuring out what she wants, and everything's going super smooth. I'm not getting any red flags from this girl, but I'm pretty sure that was strategic. So I finish up her makeup. She's really happy with it. She's like, it's beautiful. There may have been some minor changes. I mean, again, I was just starting out, so it was very common for me to like have to tweak a thing or two. for the makeup application. And if I remember correctly, she had some sort of event that she was going to do, like bridal shower or photos. I'm pretty sure it was pictures, because I'm pretty sure I saw photos later. At the end of the service, I'm packing up, I'm getting ready to go, and we start discussing payment options. And really, I only accept cash and like Venmo or Cash App. Especially at this point in my career, I haven't like expanded on any other forms of payment yet, and I've gotten burned one too many times with taking checks, so I just don't offer that as a form of payment. And she's like, oh yeah, I can Cash App you. I'm pretty sure it was Cash App or Venmo. And I was like, perfect. So I give her all of my like account information, like my Cash App account handle or Venmo account handle, and that's when I get hit with the old, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on, but it's not working. And I'm like, oh, okay, like no big deal. At this point, I'm still really trusting her. I'm in her house, so I mean, you know, I know where you live, girl. And I'm like, okay, no big deal. I need to leave because you know, don't want to hang out at your house until you get this figured out, which in hindsight, maybe I should have. But also it was like, you know, $75 or something. So I was like, okay, no big deal. Like, just, you know, get it figured out whenever you can and send it over to me. I knew that she had somewhere to go and I was ready to leave. So I was like, all right, no big deal. I'll just leave and she'll send it to me eventually. So later that day, we'd primarily been communicating through Instagram. So I just sent her a message just like reminding her of the remaining amount. And I also sent her my handle again. I think for both Cash App and Venmo, just like, hey, if one or the other is not working, just send it this way. I see that she opens the message and reads it and doesn't respond, and I'm thinking, okay, that's not that strange because, you know, she had something going on, she was probably busy. I'll just give her a few hours, not worry about it. So next day, I send her another message just saying like, hey, here's, you know, a reminder, whenever you get a chance, can you please send over payment because I still haven't got anything from you. And she reads that message and doesn't respond again. Finally, after my third reminder message, she finally messages me back and she's like, hey, okay, I'm so sorry, like I'm gonna be sending it over right now, so sorry for the delay, like I apologize, some things have just been coming up or whatever. I'm like, okay, but you know, you knew you had to pay this yesterday or 2 days ago, and I still haven't got my payment yet, but I'm gonna be nice. And she's like, yeah, I'm sending it right now, and I never get anything. I'm like, okay. I send her one more message and I'm like, hey, still haven't gotten any payment, like is there something going on, do you need to pay me another way, like I need to get my money, you have not paid me yet, this is getting a little out of hand. And she reads the message, doesn't respond. It's posting photos from the pictures or event or whatever it was, and I'm like commenting like, oh my gosh, you look so good, makeup looks so good, just to try and remind her like, hello, I'm still here. At no point does this girl ever block me or just, I don't know, send me a message like, hey, I'm not gonna send you any money. She just never pays. She just never responds to me again. And at some point, you know, like I move on because I'm like, it's been 2 weeks and I haven't heard anything from this girl, and obviously she's not trying to pay me, so I guess I just need to let it go. Like, she would read my messages, not respond to them, and would just leave me unblocked on her account, still following her, still following me, and just not respond to me and not offer to pay me. It was absolutely insane. Thankfully, I was never contracted to do her wedding because obviously I would have canceled and been like, no, we're not going to be a good fit. But yeah, I never heard anything from her ever again. I'm pretty sure she still follows me and I still follow her. And I don't even know, I don't remember the girl's name or anything anymore to like reach out and be like, hey, by the way, you never paid me. Do you remember that? That girl got some free makeup that day, and that was also the day that I realized I need to start having contracts for every single client regardless of what the makeup is for. And I've never had that problem ever since. So I just think it's crazy. Sometimes I drive by like the apartment complex, and I'm sure she doesn't even live there anymore, and I'm like, I remember you. I'm never gonna forget you, girl. I'm always gonna remember that you owe me $75. And now it's tacked on 5 years of interest, so, you know, like $2,000 at this point, but Who's counting? That's my story time for the day, so hope you guys enjoyed it. I love you so much. I hope you have the best day ever, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, besties!